Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss a very important and interesting literary device, and we'll also discuss a couple of very interesting poems. If you look at the whiteboard, I've written a poem, The Rain by William H. Davies. And if you read this poem, you will hardly see any difficult words. So he's chosen a very simple vocabulary for the poem, and no word is unfamiliar to the readers. But let's read the poem first. I hear leaves drinking rain. I hear rich leaves on top, giving the poor beneath, drop after drop. 'Tis a sweet noise to hear these green leaves drinking near. Okay, now if you read this poem, yes, it gives you a picture. It's raining on a tree and the rain is falling on the top leaves, then the rain is coming from the top leaves to the lower leaves. And it's quite a simple poem and simple meaning, and it creates a kind of picture in the mind. But if you take rain as a symbol of the resources that are in the world, and you take the leaves on top as the high class of the society and the leaves beneath as the lower class. So he's symbolizing the upper class as he's symbolizing the upper leaves as the upper class of the society, and the lower leaves as the lower class of the society. So you see, the resources are enjoyed the most by the upper class, and whatever is left over, that is given to the lower class. So this is a perfect example of the literary device symbolism, where rain and leaves and the raindrops, they symbolizes something beyond the dictionary meaning of this poem. Let's read another poem. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I hate to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So again, there is hardly any difficult word. Again, Robert Frost has chosen some very simple words, and if you take the literary meaning of the poem, it's quite simple, that people believe that the world will either end in fire or ice. And yes, both of them are very powerful, and both of them are capable of destroying the world. But in this poem, the word fire and ice, both of them are used symbolically. In the poem, fire symbolizes destructive and consuming emotions such as jealousy, desire for power, anger, and impulsivity. Ice in the poem symbolizes destructive and withholding emotions such as hate, indifference, loneliness, and isolation. Of course, the poet indicates to the reader that the literal meaning of the fire and ice make them capable of destroying and ending the world. However, it's the symbolism of fire and ice that enhances the meaning and significance of the poem. Now let's read another poem that uses symbolism. It's Because I Could Not Stop for Death by Emily Dickinson. Let's read the poem first and then we'll discuss it. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves. We passed the school where children strove at races in the ring. We passed the field of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. If you look at this poem, there is hardly again any difficult word. And the words used in this poem are quite simple, and you get a meaning from it by reading the poem, that somebody is sitting in the carriage and that carriage is passing a school where the children are playing in races in the ring, and then that carriage passes through the fields of gazing grain, and then they pass near the setting sun. In this poem, the carriage is the symbol of death. which suddenly arrives to pick his passengers or the dying person without informing them. In the next stanza, the poet has symbolically described the three stages of man. School is the symbol of children, gazing grain is the symbol of youth, a stage of emotions and ambitions. Then she has given the symbol of setting sun, which means old age and the end of life. Symbolism is a literary device that refers to the use of symbols in a literary work. A symbol is something that stands for or suggests something else. It represents something beyond literal meaning. In literature, a symbol can be a word, object, action, character, or concept that embodies and evokes a range of additional meaning and significance.